Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to happy Capricorn season, Capricorn vlog, Capricorn Explained if you are new here. I am so fucking thrilled that I am done with this video series. And I think me sharing my absolute just like, moment of like, wow, I'm about to be done with this thing that I've been working on for over a year. That's very Capricorn energy because Capricorn is all about working towards a goal, finding some kind of ambition or status or something that you want to shoot for and go for it basically. However, not just go for it, but plan for it, put your effort into it, work really hard to make things what you want them to be. But without further ado, let's get into our Capricorn Explained vlog. One thing to understand about Capricorn energy is that they like to do the most. So my outfit today is pretty much an explanation for that. Like I was like ready to put in the max amount of effort to get to my end goal, which is this. And fun fact, when you are a Capricorn placement, your Saturn energy is going to really define more of what that Capricorn energy looks like for you. And I personally have my Saturn in Aries. So the fact that I literally was aiming to look like a threat today with my outfit, very Capricorn-esque, you know, bringing out the devil within us all. I actually find a lot of Capricorn placements love like the whole red, black, and white look because I think it does just have this energy of power. Dominance, you know, being able to control a situation. That is kind of the energy that Capricorn strives for at any given point in their time. Probably because at one point in their time, or I should say many points in their life, they probably just felt like they were completely out of control of the narrative that was happening before them. Hence why they learn how to embody this daddy Saturn energy that I like to call it. Now let me explain what I mean by the whole daddy Saturn energy, or how Capricorn energy even relates to the energy of Saturn, which is heavily tied with like obstacles, authority, karma, and like I said, like domination to a degree. So naturally, Capricorn energy falls in the 10th house of a birth chart, horoscope, whatever, which further explains that 10th house themes like public image, reputation, status, or a certain kind of goal or like a level of honor you're trying to reach. That is stuff that you can find within the 10th house, but consequently, those themes are very similar to what Capricorn energy is always seeking to embody. Now, the honor of a Capricorn has a lot to do normally with a family honor. Makes me think of like Mulan, where they're like, bring honor to us all. That's very much Capricorn energy, or this idea that you're kind of redeeming or bringing a certain amount of glory to your family name, because this energy does oppose Cancer and the 4th house, which is all about your past, your family, your upbringing, basically. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that this is a conscious like undoing of karma that these people might get themselves into. If anything, a lot of the time it's way more unconscious and a lot more of them just kind of falling into similar situations of their past relatives, most specifically the mother or father or any other kind of authority figure within the family that laid down the law in a way that made you kind of realize that there's certain limitations to the way that you're able to move about things and do things that you want to do. For example, I like to acknowledge the fact that Capricorn energy can either act as a wall or it can act as a platform for you to then move forward on a different goal, you know, that already has a stable foundation to it. Oftentimes I see that people with Capricorn placements are people that had to grow up in the area that they have that Capricorn energy a lot quicker than perhaps the other people around them. For example, if you're a Capricorn sun, you might find that your adolescence was maybe a lot more about learning lessons, maybe standing up for things or learning how to take responsibility for things. Or perhaps you got into more adult-like things earlier on. This can be anywhere from drugs, alcohol, and partying to dealing with larger institutions at a young age. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that this can pan out, but it essentially creates a premature maturity in people, but it can also create this kind of like Benjamin Button effect too, where because in the area of Capricorn in your chart, you had to kind of gather your bearings quickly, it then kind of puts you into this premature plateau state where all of a sudden you hit kind of like a midlife crisis in like your 20s, where you realize where you haven't lived much like authentic, pure life as it might relate to your inner child, and maybe perhaps taking responsibility, control for things that may be a lot more than you can handle at an early age. In a way, your energy will kind of come back to itself and realize that a large part of its karma is trying to figure out a practical use, or if there is a practical use, for all of the walls that you had to build up through your adolescence or childhood. There can be a lot of discipline with this energy, but perhaps not a lot of drive or goals to actually use that discipline because of the ways that you might put yourself into a box at times. It's almost like being so aware of the rules that you can't move. You become completely inhibited. You kind of already know how things are going to work out, so you stop yourself short. That's honestly a shadow side of Capricorn energy, is that they really can get into their heads and kind of decide for themselves if something's worth it or not, when perhaps it's their own oomph that is really the determining factor in that. Another thing I want to talk about when it comes to Capricorn energy is what I would call the stay in your place dilemma. Because this energy has such a awareness, I guess, of the restrictions, especially the social restrictions or just specific procedures that they need to keep in mind when moving through the world and towards their goals, they might find that they feel rather inhibited by other people. Other people are the obstacles. However, a lot of the time I find that's a projection of their own narrative where they feel the need to stay at a certain level until they are called up by an authority figure or somebody of a certain kind of status that they seek to have. So that being said, it can become a matter of just realizing your own inner authority to call the shots and basically propel yourself to whatever kind of goal you want to by truly preparing and doing kind of the work that it takes on an internal level to realize that you don't actually have to stay in your place and it's really nobody's place to tell you what to do. LOL. Of discipline during this Capricorn season, I finally got around to picking up a book to read for fun, which has been The Witch of Portobello. I highly recommend already. I'm only about halfway through it. But there was a quote in this book that really stood out to me for Capricorn energy specifically because, like I said, Capricorn energy is the 10th house. It's the top of the chart, but it is rooted in the 4th house, the bottom of the chart, which is your feelings, this personal energy, this past energy. And basically that's what guides you up to more of your glory, to find what your purpose is. You know, it starts from within you, a very personal feeling from the depths of your soul that decides, you know, this is where we need to go next. And in this book, it says here, you imagine the future as if it were the past, not realizing that the war will never end. What I mean is that if you're not in touch with your roots, you will feel as if you've lost touch with the world. And honestly, that's so true for a Capricorn and Capricorn energy in general. No matter where this energy is in your chart, it needs to be rooted. Capricorn energy has a lot to do with rawness and practicality. So getting to the exact root and then growing that root, you know, nurturing it, fertilizing it, being tactful and ambitious, but being okay with climbing the mountain. When it comes to Capricorn energy, I think of like a goat scaling a mountain because truly that's very on point for this energy. Like I was saying, it's tactile, it's enduring. It can be a little risky, but at points where it makes sense. However, the root cause for what they're doing is taking care of a basic initial need that they had. You know, perhaps they were looking for food or something like that, and that's why they climbed up the mountain. I don't know. But that's a lot of what you see with Capricorn energy. It's basically being able to get into the raw truth of something and pull out the best of it. That's why when you put Capricorn as a rising sign, it has Virgo energy in the 9th house, because there is this really strong ability to pick the most efficient viewpoint and route in order to eventually manifest your goal, which for Capricorns a lot of the time is this beautiful united type of energy. It's seeing things work together. It's seeing your inner emotional intention find roots and then branch out into something that's stable but giving and worthwhile to not only yourself but everyone that it touches, everyone that it's able to encounter. There's a certain level of integrity that this energy seeks to have in every single thing that they do, and they never want to slip and make it seem like they have fallen short from their duties. In a way, what can become really stressful for these people is just the idea of what other people would say and criticize them with if they weren't to meet these certain standards or expectations. I've noticed with Capricorn energy, there's a strong worry about the he said, she said, especially when it comes to like siblings or extended family members or like childhood friends or people you've known for a really long time, or even grandparents sometimes. This energy really wants to be respected by their community, but at the same time, they almost serve the community's expectations and their opinions a little too much to the point where they can kind of forget how to take care of themselves actually. And because this energy walls themselves off so much in attempt to avoid being kind of manipulated or having any kind of weird mind games with people, they actually end up playing mind games with people and kind of end up waiting for people to get on their certain level, even though they haven't really found out yet why they really want that in the first place. You know, sometimes this energy can be rooted in a more unconscious feeling. So thus, when they try to actually root and then grow from that, it can become really like tumultuous and weird for other people because they're like,
hold on, I didn't like agree to, playing in these roles that you're assigning me where I seem more critical than probably what I actually am.
That is a strong issue with Capricorn energy, is they can just assume people are going to dog them for shit, like way worse than what they actually probably will get dogged for it. Capricorn can definitely lack humility at times because they expect that other people want to be as contained and reserved as they want to be at all times. Again, perhaps not realizing the root of that is perhaps an expectation that was put on them, and thus now they project that same expectation onto others. Also, going off of the discipline thing, meditation is a really good thing I find for Capricorn energy because this energy can just be super serious, super contained. It's really good for this energy to delegate a certain amount of time every day to just unwind mind, body, spirit. And I find that doing more disciplined forms of that are normally the route to do it. So for example, for meditation lately, I have been doing like flame stuff where I like just stare at a flame and kind of let the visions come to me through that, like with this candle I have right here. But I also have this cute little thing. My mom got it for me for Christmas, and I've basically been zoning into this, creating a trance-like state where I look into the smoke and get like messages and vibes and stuff like that. So, and because we have a whole generation that has Neptune and Capricorn, you might find that a lot of people prefer more by the book spiritual practices and stuff like that, things that do require a certain amount of discipline or mastery, because truly that is just a Capricorn way to handle Neptunian things, which is spirituality, oneness, that sort of thing. When you have Neptune and Capricorn, you kind of see that as more something you need to discipline yourself and work towards. It's not something that just happens overnight, like perhaps people that have Neptune and Uranus might think with their like spiritual awakening that they say happened from putting a crystal on their forehead. Like, I don't know. Fun fact, Capricorn energy is also willing to do things that take a lot of time and effort, as you can probably guess from the whole talk about discipline and shit like that. So hence why in this Capricorn season, I've been able to take on the challenges of things that I've been kind of putting off for some time because I knew it was going to take a lot of effort, or maybe I was just waiting for a certain level of preparedness to do them. But whatever the case may be, I actually just put great use to my Capricorn energy in my 5th house, which rules like casual dating, and actually just made an hour and 37-minute long video about dating the zodiac signs for my Patreon. So it's a completely unfiltered, unedited video. So if you are interested in getting like a lot of information, check it out.